Hey there, back in the shop. Today it's less of a trick than more of a technique, but actually if you've never seen this technique, it will seem like a little bit of magic. This is really kind of a standard thing that anybody who uses a big joiner like this should know. The joiner is designed to, well, one of its functions is to give you two flat edges so that you can join boards together and glue them together to make a nice flat board. So you've already planed the boards to the proper thickness and they're nice and flat. Now it's time to put that joint into place. Now, almost every joiner, no, I take that back, every joiner really has some kind of a mechanism to make sure that the fence is square to the table. It may look something like this. There's all sorts of different ways to have this mechanism work. As a matter of fact, we actually have ours doctored up a little bit so that we can change these threaded nuts in here to lock it into 90 degrees so you can't even move it beyond just the lever. So I've loosened that up a little bit and I've actually kicked our fence in a couple of degrees to exaggerate this out of square to show you what we're doing. Usually if your fence is out of square, it's because somebody didn't set it right when they were done using it. It's hardly ever going to be this much out of square, more like a half a degree or something, but I've exaggerated this out of square situation to elaborate on what we're going to show for this trick. So here are our two boards that we want joined together. Now you can see essentially they've got a saw cut down the middle and that's okay and it looks pretty square, but this isn't a glue joint. There's some gapping there. We're laying it on the table here so you can see how off it is. But we know this is where we want our joint. So we're going to put a cabinet maker's mark on here so that we know this is the joint where the two pieces go together. Now here's where the fun comes in. If we took these both and ran them over the joiner without any concern, we'd probably get a square joint if it were a square fence. But that's not necessarily our case here, and it's not always the case in your shop. So what I'm going to do is mark one of these with an I and one of these with an O. This means that we're going to run these differently against the joiner. So this is my board that has the I mark on it there. That means that I'm going to take it and run this face in against the fence, okay? And that's going to give us an angle on this surface. Yes, it will. Now, my other board has an O, which means I'm going to run that facing out from the fence. And the beauty of it is, the joint that matches the two, they're going to complement one another to make a perfect 90-degree final flat board. Not a 90-degree joint, but we'll have a nice flat board. Let me show you how that works. So we bring our two boards back over here, and that is a pretty nice glue joint. But again, our fence wasn't square, so what does our joint look like from the end? So there you can see how our off-angle joint still works fine. And again, this is exaggerated, but it still works great. So that's our clever joiner tip or technique for today. It'll keep your boards flat regardless of who used your joiner last. That's all for me, but I think I need to go empty the dust collector, huh? All right, thanks a lot.